You hear me in Chicago? Will you say something so I can hear you?
Hello.
There we go.
Okay.
Do speak up, Catherine and Jack and Jennifer.
Okay.
There you go. All right, today is Tuesday, November 19th. It's 10 a.m. and I will call the Illinois State Board of Elections meeting to order. And if you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call, Amy.
Ms. Ballarcroft,
Present.
Ms. Craig,
Present.
Ms. Genovese,
Here.
Ms. McCory,
Here.
Mr. Turbin,
Here.
Mr. Brett,
Here.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Present.
Chair Watson. Absent.
Sure.
All right, before we get started, I would just like to say thank you to all the staff, both in Chicago and Springfield, and everybody who had anything to do with our election on November 5th. But then all those hours and days and time prior to that, I think it went off smoothly. We have ourselves to thank for that, as well as our partners throughout the state at the local level. But thank you. I know it isn't easy sometimes, and especially when you get thrown a curve every now and then. And we did have a few outliers this year, but you're appreciated. And thank you very, very much. Anybody else?
I would like to echo what she just said, because somebody that's been in a lot of those things like that. This was a phenomenal election process, and you guys did a wonderful job. Everybody did.
Thank you, Mr. Turbin. All right, could I have a motion for approval of the minutes of October 16th and October 30th?
So moved.
Second. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballarcroft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese. Ms. McCory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
All right. Now we have another exciting thing to do today. We have some staff service awards, and Bernadette, would you like to start? And Jeremy Kirk, would you please come forward?
Okay, good morning. I'm happy to begin our staff recognition and present this 15-year service award to Jeremy. Jeremy began working at the agency in the fiscal division, was then promoted to Director of Administrative Services, and now serves as the Assistant Executive Director. In his current role, Jeremy assists with executive oversight of all agency divisions, operations, and projects. In every role since beginning employment at the agency, Jeremy has served as a problem solver and an innovator, recommending resolutions and new approaches to ensure the agency continues to improve how it supports Illinois election administration and best serve Illinois voters. Since moving into an executive position, election administrators have been tasked with duties beyond our traditional roles. Jeremy meets those challenges head on, while also helping to ensure continuity by assisting with the management of day-to-day operations of the agency. So on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you for being a valuable member of the agency throughout the last 15 years. And personally, I'd like to thank you for your assistance and support, especially over the last several years, and look forward to continuing our work together. So.
Here. You hear us here? Matt and entire speech was muffled. There must be something going on with the speaker where it's blocked down there.
Hear me okay now or no?
Oh, no.
Is it here?
There you go. That's better. Oh,
You have to speak up.
It's right in front of my face.
No, but.
you guys all sound like you're underwater right now.
How was that? Is that better?
A little bit.
Oh, boy. No, just thank you for that. First and foremost. Thank you. I'll leave it for,
All right, yes, we're gonna go for the next one, so the two of them can talk to each other. So, we have Bernadette Matthews for her 15-year award.
Well, I have the distinct pleasure, and there are many in this group that have worked with you for a very long time. Again, which folks of us have very quick, thank you for your service moments, but I'll very quickly off the top of my head, go down Bernadette's long list of accolades, beginning in the legal division, becoming general counsel, assistant executive director, and now our executive director. The list of things that Bernadette has done for this agency and continues to do in the leadership she provides are just unmatched in what I've experienced in my career of 20 plus years in the state of Illinois. So thank you for your service, your continued leadership needs.
Won't pass it around, but I just want to say thank you to both, and express on behalf of the board that we thank you both for all you do to lead this agency. It's nice that you're friends, that you get along, and I'm sure because of that, you can agree to disagree, but you both the best out of both because of that. And so thank you both for your 15 years of service. Big word left.
Thank you.
Now, John and Bill, would you please come up?
We're gonna have John Oldfield, Director of BRS, present the 15-year service award to Clayton Nicholson.
Morning, everyone. Please do the honors of holding this.
We might have
So-
to switch those out.
Clayton and I were talking this morning. He said I could just hand him his plaque and we can run out of here as fast as we can. But I was afraid, 15 years later, we'd probably trip and fall, maybe back then we could have done that. But, so Clayton, what a quick 15 years it's been. Seems like just yesterday starting here and we were tackling challenges side by side. As I look back over the years, I'm amazed at all you've accomplished. From the early days as blood tech, from cube number 1 to your role as a team lead of the BRS techs, it's been a pleasure watching you grow professionally. You've always been a valuable member of our team. Your contributions have made a lasting impact on everything we do. Who can forget when you stepped up to fill in the Chief of Information Officer in the IT department? That wasn't an easy task, but you handled it with the same dedication and skill you brought to every role. Now we're fortunate to have you settle in as a team lead in the voter registration systems where you continue to make a difference. Thank you for your hard work and leadership and commitment to our team over the past 15 years. It's been an honor to work with you. Look forward to many years. Congratulations on this incredible milestone.
All right, yeah, we'll try a test. Can you hear okay with this mic? Yeah,
Okay.
okay, all right, great. All right, I will now proceed with presenting Tom Newman with his 25-year service award. So I'm honored to present Tom Newman with a 25-year service award. So I think just take a moment and reflect on 25 years. As a long-term staff member of the Campaign Disclosure Division, Tom has consistently demonstrated a high level of commitment and subject matter expertise throughout his years with the agency. As the director of the division, Tom serves as a primary resource on campaign disclosure laws and processes, while also supervising, training, and mentoring the division staff. Campaign disclosure matters comprise of most of each month's board agenda, which you're well aware. Tom attends all meetings, often traveling to Chicago several times a year to do so, to assist the board and executive staff with consideration of these items. And on top of that, he bakes and brings cookies to every meeting. Additionally, Tom serves as a primary point of contact for committee reps, election attorneys, and members of the General Assembly who are seeking guidance. Tom's professionalism and exceptional knowledge are often complimented by the public. The board should be proud of the way that Tom represents the agency, especially because he often has to be the bearer of bad news. As we celebrate Tom's 25-year milestone, I want to express my personal appreciation to Tom for his service to the board and the agency. Dedicated employees like you are integral to our successes. So thank you for your contributions. I look forward to continuing to work together.
Thank you.
I would just like to say, I've worked with Tom for close to 25 years, in all different areas, when he was the assistant director, when he became director. And if poor Tom Newman had a dime for every time I went running into his office with my cell phone, because there was a legislator on the other end that needed him, or the times I've called him at home, nights and weekends, he just goes above and beyond. And I want to personally say thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's kind of hard to believe it's been 25 years. I'm just reflecting back on it, and I'm one of the few employees still here that can say I've worked under every executive director that the agency's ever had. As I've said in the past, having great staff makes it so much easier, and I do have a great staff. And as we head into the Thanksgiving season, I'm definitely thankful for my employees, as well as all the employees at the State Board of Elections and the board itself. It's the best place I've ever worked, best job I've ever had. And I look forward to continuing on. And let's get back to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for that. We appreciate it. Quickly there, when I was looking over the employees in various departments and their years of service, yours has the longest years of service within your employee base. And I think that says something about the department. I've always felt that you go to a restaurant and the waiters always change, something's wrong. But when they stay, that says something. It says something about all of you, Bernadette, Jeremy, for all the work you've done. Thank you. All right. We will have the report of the general counsel. And I'll let you start with 3A1 or any opening comments.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to make sure, is Chicago able to hear me right now?
I think.
I'm sorry. Can Chicago hear me?
No.
Not really.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Then let's share this mic, Marnie.
Okay, so sorry, everyone, we're gonna have to pass the mic.
Yeah.
back and forth.
Can you just come over here? Yeah.
Sure.
We'll do that just because I've noticed that before. It's garbled. There's one mic that works. Let's use it.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Well, if it becomes a problem, please let me know and I will do my best to keep my voice up. Good morning, everybody. First agenda item, 3A1. It's a motion for reconsideration, SBE versus 36 Ward Dems.
case 23 AD 27. Is there anyone here or in Chicago on that matter?
Yeah, we just had an attorney step up and file an appearance this morning.
Okay, great.
Are you an attorney, sir?
All right, so I'm going to read my recommendation, and then the representative of the committee will be able to introduce themselves and comment to the board. So the committee filed a motion to reconsider fines totaling $10,800 for 8 late A1s reported in the fourth quarter of 2023. A final order was effective July 29th, 2024, and this motion was filed September 19th, 2024, so the motion is timely filed. The committee's counsel says no appeal was filed because the committee never received the June 18th assessment letter. The committee's stated basis for appeal is its fundraising consultant did not inform the committee of the deposits until after the deposits were made in October and November 2023. And once the committee was informed, they were immediately reported on November 29th, 2023. But this is not a valid defense, as Section 9-10 provides that the date of deposit governs the date of a contribution, and the committee has not alleged nor provided evidence that the contributions were deposited on a later date than originally reported. Under Rule 125.440D, the committee seeking reconsideration has the burden of showing its appeal would have been meritorious, and this committee has not done so here. Therefore, I recommend that the motion to reconsider be denied and $10,800 would be owed.
Do we have a discussion? Do I have a motion?
Oh, I'm
Oops.
sorry, Madam Vice Chair. I do believe there's someone here on behalf of the committee in Chicago.
Excuse me. Amy, do we need a signed?
Yeah, you got this.
It's someone that signed in at the door.
All right. Go ahead and identify yourself. Go under the green light up there so we can see you.
Why don't you come up this way? Raise my hand.
Thank you, sir. State your name.
My name is Pericles Abbasi with Chicago Law LLC. I am the.
Sir,
I get that.
excuse me, you'll have to spell your name, please.
Excuse me, so it's Pericles. Pericles is my first name. Abbasi. Abbasi is my last name. And thank you for having me today. My law firm is Chicago Law LLC. And I am the attorney for the 36th Ward Democrats. First, to the notice, the committee just, for whatever reason, didn't receive the letter. Normally, whenever Committeeman Villegas, the Democratic Committeeman of the 36th Ward, whenever the letter gets to his office, either he or someone on his staff texts me the same day, or he scans it and emails it to me. So, and they, when talking to them, they just do not remember it. And so I asked for an opportunity to have this in front of a hearing officer, talking with Committeeman Villegas, Committeeperson Villegas. There was an issue with the consultant, and I'd like the chance to have with the hearing officer to bring all the bank records, and I believe it's possible some of the deposits may have been later than that date. And I'd like to get affidavits from perhaps the people, the consultant and the committee, just to have the opportunity to reopen it and remand it to a hearing officer, which we didn't initially. So that's what we'd ask for this time. I mean, the end result may end up being the same with the fines under the rubric, the fine rubric, but we'd like the opportunity to have a hearing officer on this matter. You know, in the next, you know, potentially at the December meeting or the January meeting, if that's how the timeline works out.
Is there discussion?
Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm having trouble understanding.
Is there discussion? Any questions?
Is this even
Do I have a motion?
Oh.
Oh.
I have a question here, sir. Is this even viable right now to send to remand for another hearing?
And I assume that's a question to me, to Marty. No. So we have a very clear rule. It's Rule 125.440D. The committee seeking reconsideration has the burden of showing its appeal would have been meritorious. And here, not only have they provided evidence that it would have been meritorious, they haven't even alleged it would have been meritorious. They have an attorney representing them, and there's no reason why they couldn't have filed a motion in compliance with the rule.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the report of the hearing officer and the general counsel.
There is no hearing officer in
sorry.
this matter.
Just the general counsel then. Make a motion to accept the motion or the recommendation of the general counsel.
There's a second. Second. I'll second that. Roll call, Amy.
Let's check with him.
Roll call, Amy.
Her, I don't think her.
Oh. Okay. All right, we're not communicating. Catherine, do you have a question?
Second, the motion.
Oh, good. I mean, you've got the mic, that's what I meant. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft. Ms. Cray.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese.
Yes.
Ms. McCrory.
Yes.
Mr. Turbin.
Yes.
Mr. Vrett.
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Now we have, SBE versus Willpower, 14301 23AD012.
I can take this one out of order if you'd like. After this one, I'd prefer to call cases in which we have an appearance on file. Although, is there someone there in Chicago on SBE versus Willpower?
All right, let's,
Mr. Abbasi has filed an appearance on item 4.
okay.
People's Choice Party, he is stepping up on that as well. He filed his appearance this morning. Please note that.
All right, let's do, SBE, People's Choice Party. That's 3A4. And I will call on Marnie for her comment.
Thank you. This is case number 23 SQ96. I will read my recommendation, and then Mr. Abbasi will have the opportunity to address the board. The committee is offering $1,325, which is 50%, to settle $2,650 in fines for late filing of the March 2019, June 2021, September 2022, and March 2023 quarterly reports, as well as 3 late A1s during the first quarter of 2021, and an additional late A1 during the fourth quarter of 2022. The committee meets the balance and receipt ratios and the 50% threshold of the offer amount. Therefore, I recommend accepting the offer. When Mr. Abbasi, sir, when you comment, if you could speak louder and slower, please, that would be very helpful.
Mr. Abbasi?
Member Ballard handed me a microphone, and thank you for that. And again, Pericles Abbasi, PERICLES ABBASI for People's Choice Party. And I ask the board to agree with the general counsel and to accept the offer, and People's Choice Party will pay it very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft.
Yes.
Ms. Cray.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese.
Yes.
Ms. McCrory.
Yes.
Mr. Turbin.
Yes.
Mr. Vrett.
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Yes,
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you. All right, now we have SBE Maywood together, and we do have someone registered to speak on this, and Nathaniel George Booker. Is that in Chicago?
Yes.
All right. Marnie?
Thank you. This is case 23 MQ 110. I will read my recommendation and then Mr. Booker will have the opportunity to address the board. The committee is offering $4,000 to settle $11,602 in fines for late filing of the June 2019, December 2019, March 2021, June 2021, June 2022, and March 2023 quarterly reports, as well as 2 A1 violations in the second quarter of 2020, 1 A1 violation in the third quarter of 2020, 4 A1 violations in the first quarter of 2021, and 1 A1 violation in the second quarter of 2021. I'll note that the offer form provided on your packet incorrectly lists the total fine amount as $11,602. The correct amount is $12,102, which makes the offer 33.05% of the balance owed, and a corrected form is included in your packet. The offer is compliant in terms of balance and receipt ratios, and although it is below the 50% standard, the committee is considered low dollar. Their last reported balance was $96.16. As the committee is low dollar and the offer otherwise comports with settlement guidelines, I recommend accepting the offer.
Mr. Booker?
They thank George Booker,
Which-
Georgiel, George, George, Booker, Booker. My only comment would be, thank you.
All right. Do we have discussion? Otherwise, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft. Ms. Craig.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese.
Yes.
Ms. McCrory.
Yes.
Mr. Turbin.
Yes.
Mr. Brett.
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. 3A6, we have someone in Chicago, I believe. Jim Jorgensen.
Vincent?
Yes.
Okay. Marnie?
All right, this is agenda item 3A6, SPE versus Friends of Jim Jorgensen. Am I spelling that or pronouncing that correctly? Okay, wonderful. It's case number 24, MA2. I am going to read my recommendation and then, sir, you'll have an opportunity to address the board. This board rejected another offer from this committee in September. And as this recommendation here is a bit nuanced, I ask that everyone bear with me. The committee is offering $1,100, which is 11.92% of the amount owed, to settle $9,225 in fines for late filing of 9 separate quarterly reports dating from March 2021 to June 2024. The offer is compliant in terms of balance and receipt ratios, but falls short of the 50% standard, and the committee is not considered low dollar. A corrected version of the settlement offer form is included because based on campaign disclosure director's conversation with Mr. Jorgensen, which hopefully he can weigh in on, the correct offer amount here is actually $600. The rejected offer in September was for $500, but the committee also paid that amount online at the time the offer was made. So my understanding is the committee is considering that $500 payment as part of the $1,100 current offer. So if this is considered as an offer of $600, it is 6.5% of the amount owed. This is a smaller committee that is still permitted to file on paper, and its most recently reported balance is $1,685. I recommend rejecting the offer due to the low offer amount, but I note that the committee does not have anywhere near $9,225 to pay the fines, and inability to pay is a factor that may be taken into account in settlement amount.
Mr. Jorgensen, would you like to comment, please?
Yes, I was first ran for election in 1995. I was elected in 96. I've been here for 28 years. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they decided to run somebody against you. I've never done this before. Right after I started this, a horrible divorce started. I was not receiving my mail. I was not even getting these forms. Besides that, everything was just stayed. I got $1,600 that I didn't want. I wanted to do it on my own. I sent $500 out of my pocket. I will give the whole $1,685. I don't mind, but I've only been doing this for 4 years with a kid with a computer or my phone. I have never had help with this. And I was not getting my mail. I found out I don't have insurance on my house or my vehicles this week. We're going through a lot.
Their discussion, Catherine?
Yes, I am. What,
Oh, hold on, slow down. Catherine, we can't hear your question.
I asked if he was planning to continue with the committee. And he said yes.
I know, I'm running out of polls.
Asked if the committee, if you wanted.
So to clarify, what amount of the settlement offer are we, are you offering $1,685 or are you offering a total of $1,100?
Well, I sent $500 out of my pocket. I was offered 1,100 more. I'm at the mercy of the board here. You can have the whole account. I just wanted but at $9,000 was kind of stiff for the guy not getting this mail. She got her name on my house, even after the last 3 years. It's been pretty rough. Excuse my attire.
Marty, my question for you is, can we consider the $500 that's already been paid as part of the total settlement amount today?
It does not make sense to do so because that amount simply brings down the balance. However, what I just heard from Mr. Jorgensen was different than my understanding of the offer. So if we are excluding the $500 that was already paid, are you offering an $1,100 in additional amount to pay off the fines?
Yeah, so I was recommended to pay at least half. I got $1,685, 4 years, never took any more money in, never sent any money out. I don't care if you have the whole $1,685, I just want to keep my job.
Sure.
1,100, to keep 500, to give a guy that uses the truck, put up my signs in the last election.
Okay.
For what I'm hearing is your offer is $1,100.
On top of the 500, I've already given out of my own pocket.
Understood. Okay, so it's for today.
Member Turbin?
Marty, can we accept that?
So I'm not going to recommend that you accept it.
Can we accept that?
I think you can if you consider this committee's inability to pay.
Move that we accept the committee's offer based on the committee's inability to pay.
I'd second that.
Been moved and seconded. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Bellercroft,
Yes.
Ms. Cray.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese.
Yes.
Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
They go to. I can be over there about something.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Jorgensen. All right, we will go now to the people for Newman.
No, that's.
Marnie,
That's agenda item
3A9.
3A9. The case number is 23DQ156. And is someone present? I believe so.
Yes.
So I will read my recommendation and then the speaker on behalf of the committee will give their name and spell their name before addressing the board, please. The board approved a $1,313 settlement offer from this committee in August, but the committee did not pay the settlement amount and the fine was reinstated. Now the committee is offering $50, which is 1.9%, to settle $2,625 in fines for late filing of the June, September, and December 2023 quarterly reports. The offer is compliant in terms of balance and receipt ratios and is below 50%, but the committee is low dollar. The last financial activity was in the first quarter of 2023, and the committee's balance has been $0 since then. I recommend acceptance of this offer because it comports with settlement guidelines, but I do want the board to be aware that the committee did not pay the amount previously agreed to.
Is there discussion? Oh, yes, you certainly do. Excuse me. Ms. Newman?
Yes.
If you could state and spell your name, please.
Yes, my name is Lisa Ann Brown Newman, spell it LISAANNBROWNNEWMAN. Wow, depends on what kind of statement, I mean, you gotta, what is question, I don't know, you gotta help me out, this is new to me, so,
So the recommendation was that we accept your.
So you wanna know why? Yeah.
But I wanna know the $1,300 that were $1,350 that was not paid.
So, okay, so I understand. So I did not have the understanding of like, so when I received the information and I kind of looked it up, okay, like what does this mean? And so in my understanding, it was like you guys would not accept anything less than 50%. So I felt like, because I know I didn't have no money, so I could have said 0%, but I didn't say that because I didn't think that that was even nothing to be considered. Even though, so here's the point. At the bottom of it, I put down, I don't have the finances, right? But I just did the mathematical calculations because it said what it said, right? And then again, when I did my research, it was like the wording was almost like, do not put anything less than 50%, or like we are not going to even consider this, right? So again, I put down calling myself following the instructions, and then at the bottom of that box, it says, you know, say different things. And I clearly kind of explained, this is the, where the campaign is at. We do not have the finances and of zero. So if you see the bottom of it, it will explain it. And then I called and he was saying that I could have said that, but I just didn't know that I could. But I did put it on that first sheet.
So you were assessed a fine for $1,350. You're
Yes.
offering an additional $50. So you're
No. I'm not offering an
So
additional.
Marnie, is this the first?
Use your microphone, Catherine.
Like $2,650.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The amount of the fines on the settlement offer is like $2,600 or something like that. I'm trying to find it. Why are we talking?
$2,625.
Right, so why are we talking about $1,350?
So the committee was previously approved a settlement offer of $1,313. They did not pay. So that amount was reinstated. Now the committee is back with a new offer of $50, but this committee is low dollar and has a zero balance.
Why is it that unpaid fine $2,625?
Where did you get that?
Right here.
I'm looking at
You settled
per
for
man, right? It's
Right.
And on the top here, unpaid fine total $2,625 and she's offering $50. Why does it say that?
I'm sorry, can you refer me to where you're looking?
I'm looking at page 43 of your packet.
$50.
Okay, so we're looking at page 43, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm sorry if you don't mind repeating your question.
It's lower.
Saying that she has $1,313 in fines. She's offering $50. Why does it say $2,625 in fines?
So she has $2,625 in fines because she did not pay the settlement offer that was previously approved. So the fine was reinstated.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand what was the original fine and what was the fine on top of that, so that we got to $2,625.
Absolutely. So the original fine amount is $26.25 and it remains at that amount because the previous settlement amount was never paid.
Gotcha. Are you planning with your committee?
Well, I would like to, so yeah, yes. So right now, I'm not really doing anything, but I would like to in the future, so it's just like, yeah, I would like to, I hope so, you know. We're not, it's just not.
The one question I have, so at the time that well, first of all, did someone appear at the time, a $1,300 settlement was, this is more of a question for Marnie and team, no appearance.
I don't recall whether this was based on a written settlement offer or whether there was a personal appearance. If Ms. Newman is saying she didn't appear, I believe her. She doesn't look familiar.
Okay, the question is, at that time, was there more than $50 in the bank account?
There's been $0 in this bank account since 2023.
Member Craig?
Maybe you guys have already asked this.
I'm gonna move to accept the recommendation of the general counsel.
Second.
Uh,
I can't hear you guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've asked this question or not. Why is she gonna final out her committee?
No,
No, she's not.
no.
Okay. And then why should I believe that she's gonna give us $50 when we never heard from her after the first settlement offer? I would have picked up the phone and called someone.
Ms. Newman?
I've been in direct contact with Mr. Newman, so yeah, so through all of this, I've been just contacting him, and so, and me mentioned the first quarter, and then the second one, so it's like, recommended, like, I just wait until everything is over with, and then at that point, like, make the settlement, so, like,
Ms. Newman, if you could slow down, we would be able to hear you much better. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. So I have been in direct, contact with Mr. Newman, I should say. And so, yeah, I kind of like just been following this, because like, I'm like new at this, but anyway, I've been calling him, and then it's like, so as what, whatever he shares with me, then I move forward on it. So am I gonna pay you the $50? Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna pay you the $50, because I have $50 to pay you. I didn't have to, again, I don't wanna repeat myself, and I don't wanna waste your time.
I'm not sure. Did you all hear the first part where she said that, she'd written on the bottom of the settlement form that she thought that she was doing the math calculations, but she wrote at the bottom of the original settlement form that she did not have the money in her bank account. That's why I asked about the appearance. Did any of you come talk to the board about this? And it appears that the answer to that is no. She is saying that she did write on the original settlement document. She thought she just had to do the math equation, but she said at that time she did not have the ability to pay. So I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure why it makes it.
Any further discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
There's a motion on the table already.
Who made the motion?
I made the motion to accept the recommendation of the general counsel.
And it was seconded by, member Trevesi.
Okay.
Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballarcroft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig? No. Ms. Genovese?
Yes.
Ms. McCrory?
Yes.
Mr. Turbin?
Yes.
Mr. Brett?
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue?
Yes.
Chair Watson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The offer has been accepted. Thank you.
I would suggest you get your house in order and you pay the fine. If you want to continue with this committee, we don't want to see you here again.
I don't,
For any other violations.
yes, ma'am. Thank you all so much.
All right, now, where are we?
So I'd prefer to close out the rest of the settlement offers, if that's okay. Is there anyone present either in Chicago or in Springfield on agenda items 3A2, 3A3, 3A7, or 3A8.
Anyone in Chicago?
There's no one in Chicago.
Okay, it is my recommendation to accept the settlement offers in agenda item 3A7 and 3A8.
Second.
And it is my recommendation to reject the offers in 2 and 3. If on number 2, they were going to show up and say that they were going to close the committee, I'd be asking for acceptance. I'm getting some faces here that I'm thinking maybe we should break out A2.
On your 7 and 8.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
My
All right.
mistake.
All right, so we have a motion to accept the recommendation of our general counsel on 3A7 and 3A8. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft. Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Genovese,
Yeah.
Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Chair Watson,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, Marnie on 3A2 and 3A3.
For 3A2 and 3A3, 3A2 and 3A3, my recommendation is to reject the offers.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Cray.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese. Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Chair Watson,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right. Now we'll go to appeals of campaign disclosure fines. Marnie,
We do not have anyone present on hearing officer recommendations where the recommendation is to grant the appeal, but I think we could handle that with a quick motion. For agenda items 3A10 and 3A11, it is my recommendation to accept the recommendation of the hearing officer and grant the appeals.
so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Amy,
Ms.
roll
Ballard-
call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Cray.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese. Who has? Oh,
Yes.
Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, now we have appeals of campaign disclosure fines. We have 3A12. Marnie, and we do have, Mr. Conlon is in Springfield, so he is here.
So you shouldn't have problems hearing.
Excellent. Well, this is.
They will.
I will move the microphone over
Okay,
here.
thanks.
This is agenda item 3A12, SPE versus vote for Sam Canman, 23 DQ 16. I will read my recommendation and then, sir, you'll have an opportunity to spell your name and address the board. The committee is appealing a civil penalty assessment of $10 for the one-day late filing of the December 2023 quarterly report. The committee says it had electronic issues filing its quarterly report, but this committee already successfully used the one-time only electronic filing defense in accordance with Rule 100.150C5A in November 2023. I agree with the hearing officer that the appeal should be denied because our rule precludes a second use of this defense unless there are extraordinary circumstances present, and I've not heard any extraordinary circumstances. The $10 penalty would be stayed as a first offense if the appeal is denied.
Thank you. Okay, should I proceed? Yes, thank you. I'm Sam Canman,
If you could spell your name.
CAHNMAN. I'm the chairman of the committee. I'm also a lawyer representing the committee. And Rule 105.150 says that if a committee is assessed a civil penalty for delinquently filing a report electronically and in the course of the appeal raises the defense of computer-related issues prohibited the timely filing of the electronic report, which is the case here, it says the board may consider the following when determining the final outcome of the appeal. And A is whether the committee has raised any electronic filing defense in a prior appeal. An electronic filing defense may be taken into consideration only once during the lifetime of a committee, barring extenuating circumstances. And clearly, there were extenuating circumstances in this case, which I will elaborate on. Also, subsection D of section 5 says if a committee misses a filing deadline due to an electronic filing issue that was known or should have been known at the time of the attempted filing, it must contact and discuss the issue with board staff. The contact must be initiated within 3 business days after the deadline to qualify for an electronic filing defense. Here, the board staff was contacted the next day. I'm not that sophisticated. You know, when I started doing these reports, it was only paper. I'm not that sophisticated in computers and electronic filing, but I've been able to do it. But this, I was trying to file it. It was after hours, and I had some problem. I couldn't find the right button to click on, and I couldn't reach any board staff at the time because it was after 5. And so I called the next day. I got some assistance of board staff, and it was filed the next day. The extenuating circumstance, I looked up the definition of extenuating circumstances. Extenuating is to serving to lessen the seriousness of an offense. Now, in this case, first of all, was filed the next day. The report showed absolutely no activity at all in the quarter. Nothing happened, no contributions, no expenditures, nothing. So obviously there was no attempt to deceive the public, which is the whole purpose of the campaign finance disclosure laws. The committee only reported having just a little over $100. It's very, it's a low dollar committee. I'm a county board member. And the last, when I did get the electronic filing defense, that was about 2 years earlier. So I think, and also there's a concept in the law called de minimis, which if something is so minor, the law doesn't really enforce it or doesn't see it as a violation. I mean, if I was driving here to get to this board meeting, the speed limit on MacArthur is 30 miles an hour. If I'm going, 31 or 31 miles an hour. No, pardon me? Yeah, I'm just saying that's an example of de minimis. Okay. All right. So I think you got 2 things here. I think there were definitely extenuating circumstances, and I think it's a de minimis offense. It's a de minimis, and for that reason, I'd ask that the appeal be allowed. Thank you.
Your discussion? Can I accept the question, Marnie? If I read
Member
it
Craig.
right? Oh, sorry. Oh, who has a question? Jack?
From here, it sounded like the explanation of the extenuating circumstance was the inability to find the button on the website. Was that the extenuating circumstance, or was there something else?
Well, that, and also the fact that there was no activity in the quarter, and that so there was no attempt to deceive, and there's almost nothing in other words, and there's almost $0. There's like a little over $100 in the committee's account. So I think all those are extenuating circumstances. The circumstances serving to lessen the seriousness of the offense. That's what extenuating. It's in the definition I found what it means.
Member Craig?
Just so I have this right, the penalty is $10 and it is stayed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, and I just want to go on record, I don't think any fine that this board issues is de minimis, whether it's $10 or 49,000. That's what we're dealing with today, a wide range. And I think that every action we take here.
Well, I didn't mean the fine was de minimis. I meant what the violation of 1 day with no activity in the committee at all that quarter, and very low, almost little, just about $100 in the committee's, account. That's what I meant was, the
I
minimum.
think of a committee that has $250,000 in it, and there's been no movement in it, maybe 10 years. And I don't feel that that's stimulus. That's me personally. I think
Well,
Mr. Newman and his staff do a yeoman's job, and we're all held to the same rules,
I
no
think-
matter what money is we have in our account.
I think the main defense is extenuating what's stated in the rule. And, I think, you know, in light of what I've stated, I think there were extenuating, circumstances, and it's not happened again since this filing.
Is there further discussion? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the report of the hearing officer and the general counsel.
Second?
Okay.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Amy, you roll call?
Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese. Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yeah.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Condon. All right. Marnie?
We have one more appeal. It's agenda item 3A13, SBE versus Citizens for Safer Schools. Is there anyone present in either office?
Anyone in Chicago? If not, Barney?
My recommendation is to accept the recommendation of the hearing officer and to deny the appeal.
Do I have a motion? So moved. Second, it's been moved and seconded. Amy?
Ms.
roll
Ballard
call,
Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese.
Yes.
Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin.
Yeah.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. All right. Where do you go from?
So next on agenda item 3A14 is an informational memo on the payment of civil penalty assessments. So before we discuss going into closed preliminary hearing to hear complaints, is there anyone here on agenda item 3A14, Young versus Bates? Oh, I'm sorry, Springfield, we just had a strange box pop up,
hold
so
on.
bear with us for a moment.
Sorry, I don't know what that was.
Let's hope it's not.
Agenda item number 3A15.
Oh, 3A15, yes, my mistake. Young versus Bates. Is anyone present on that matter?
Not in Chicago.
Marnie, would you like?
In that case, if there's no one present in Springfield either, the board could consider dismissing this case for want of prosecution if it chooses.
We have a motion?
Make a motion to dismiss the matter for want of prosecution for item number 3A15.
Second.
Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Genovese.
Yes.
Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yeah.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
So we don't have to go into closed session right now. That is the conclusion of my report, and thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Marnie.
And I will give the seat to Bernadette.
All right, next we have the report of our executive director. 15 years.
All right, the first item on my report is a post-election report related to the November 5th, 2024 general election. I'm going to invite Brent Davis, Director of Election Operations, up to provide that report, and then also we can have any further discussion following that report.
Brent?
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to provide you with an update. Following the election, I am happy to report that it was reasonably uneventful, and we had a very good operation on election day. So our office was open from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. to provide support to the members of the public as well as election officials throughout the state. Consistent with presidential cycles in the past, this election was very busy for our support operations. From early in the day, the volume of phone calls was heavy and staff were kept busy with a steady flow of calls throughout most of the day. We did have over 50 staff members who were assigned to provide support via phone and email to members of the public. And this included staff from across the agency. So consistent with previous elections, we have pulled kind of the whole agency together to provide those various levels of support. So we appreciate all of their contributions and coming together for this big day. So beyond the like the polling place lookup and registration lookup, which was a large volume of calls, most of our other inquiries were mostly routine and consistent with inquiries that we typically receive on election day. Some of those examples were violations or complaints related to the campaign free zone or electioneering, general complaints about a polling place or the demeanor of judges, election day registration questions and the requirements and ID requirements for registering on election day, isolated incidents of equipment or voting machines not working, options for voters who had been issued a vote by mail ballot and showed up to the polling place on election day and resolving those issues, questions about provisional ballots, and options for people who were out of town or visiting from out of town. That was a new one this time around. So anyway, so those are mostly consistent with what we typically receive on election day. The only other widespread issue that kind of was out of the ordinary was in Champaign County with a delay in the opening of the polls for a couple hours due to a problem with their poll books connecting to their VR system. And so that delayed opening of the polls for a couple hours. But outside of that, there were no other reported major issues related to late openings. There were no polls that were extended past the close of 7 o'clock. So other than that, it was mostly uneventful, busy, but uneventful.
Can ask for anything more.
Yeah.
Thank you again for all that you do. Are there questions of Brad? Why? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam Chair, or Madam Vice Chair?
Yes.
I don't know if now's the appropriate time or not, but I want to say, I think as Marty and Bernadette knows, the week before the election, I was contacted by a service member, deployed to the Middle East, who was having issues with his mail-in ballot. And I want to thank Bernadette and Marty and everyone on the team that was able to make sure that he was able to vote. It was tremendously fast work. It was a pleasure to be a very small part of it. Thank you, everyone involved.
That's nice. Did you all hear that? They were to get a service member their ballot, so they were able to vote. Thank you, Jack. Bernadette, continue.
Okay, the next item, it's in the general election update. It's an informational item just about late precinct reporting. As Brent had mentioned, Champaign County had some issues with an increased volume of voters later in the day due to their earlier problems. So this led to a line prior to closing and prolonged voting and delayed closing procedures. Therefore, they had a late precinct report. And then also the city of Chicago had a few late precincts that reported. They are listed in the memo. This is routine. Typically, it's that the election judges did not bring the cards from the location. And so they have to go back and get them, and then they upload them the next morning at central count. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. Otherwise, again, fairly routine with the late precinct reporting.
Any questions?
Okay, great. The next item is a legislative update. We actually have today for board consideration and requesting a vote for approval, our agenda for the spring 2025 session. So Brian Pryor, Senior Policy Advisor, is here to present this with me and make the request of the board. Over the last several weeks, if not months, Brian has worked both with SBE staff and also with the legislative subcommittee members, Member Cray and Member Turbin, to draft this proposal, finalize it, and present it to you all today. So I'll turn it over to Brian if there's anything additional, and also to the legislative subcommittee members if there's anything additional, but this is being presented for a formal board vote today.
And just for me, just a thank you to Member Cray and Member Turbin for always making yourself available to review these types of proposals, and just seeking the full board approval today. Happy to answer any questions.
Do we have questions? Member Turbin, Member Craig, would you like to comment on the proposal?
I would say that between Member Craig, myself, Brian, Jeremy, and Bernadette, when we sat down to go over all these issues, we're giving you this as a starting point to look at some of these issues, not as a complete sweep to say we want all of this done overnight or how it's done, but just to give you an idea of the issues that we think we can bring forward to the General Assembly and get some road work out of it where it could be beneficial to the election board and the processes that they do.
Any further comment? If not, could I have a motion?
I'll have a motion to accept this legislation. And as Member Turbin said, we will make adjustments along the way.
Absolutely.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Amy, roll call, please. Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Genovese,
Yeah.
Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Bernadette. Thank you, Brian.
The next item is a 6-month review of executive session minutes. So there's a memo on page 82 from Marnie. The memo indicates that both Marnie and I reviewed the minutes, and we have concluded minutes from April 19th, 2024 through September 17th, 2024, and have concluded that the necessity of confidentiality does not exist as to these minutes. So we just need a board vote to approve essentially the release of the minutes. And as always, I just like to note that the actual recordings of the executive sessions and the transcripts, they are not released at this point. It would just be the minutes are being released.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Ms. Genovese,
Yeah.
Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The remaining items, the voter registration activity, grant funding update, FY25 fiscal status reports, and 2-year plan of staff activity for the months of November and December are presented for informational purposes, but staff are available should the board have any questions.
Do we have any questions regarding this? Information that's available? Is there any other business to come before the board? Member Craig?
Brian, I'm sorry, I should have brought this up in legislation. Would you and Bernadette please, for our December meeting, just give us a really down and dirty memo on the task force? I know that we're waiting for the final report from one task force, and I just wanted us to be prepared if they introduce legislation in January. So if you could just give us a little memo in the December packet, please. Thank you.
I do know that there is a hearing on Thursday morning.
Oh, see,
Final report.
okay. Perfect. Yeah, if you'll just update us then for December, that'd be great.
Brian, you might send them, Rick and Chris, the opportunity to view if they want. Okay? Thank you. Any other business? If not, our comments from the general public. Chicago? Any comments?
If not, then we'll take about a 5-minute break and move into executive session. In the process, why don't we vote? Can I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Pardon, if we could read all of the
Oh,
exceptions.
sorry about that.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
The record. Okay. I would like a motion that we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, and the minutes of October 16th and 30th, 2024 executive sessions, and to discuss pending litigation pursuant to sections 2C1, 2C11, 2C21 of the Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS 120.
Training is.
Do I have a motion to that?
So
effect?
moved.
Second. Amy, roll call, please.
Ms. Ballard Croft,
Yes.
Ms. Craig.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese, Ms. McCrory,
Yes.
Mr. Turbin,
Yes.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
Vice Chair Donahue,
Yes.
Chair Watson.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
All right, we'll take